Hello, I'm Evocable Object 4, and welcome back to Slay the Princess. Okay. End of the world, let's just get rolling. Good.
Don't mention it. It's all part of the job.
Okay. I know the next couple of princesses we're going for.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them.
I mean...
Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Technically speaking, he doesn't know about this entire situation. He's about in the dark as us.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Let's take the blade for the last time.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
Yeah, surprisingly...
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Man, I love that it always does something different.
Who's there?
I think you went a little further in the knock-knock joke.
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Okay, so this is simple. Let's see. I'm gonna kind of streamline this a little bit. So
Don't
let's
be
say
a
hi.
stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Come on down.
Sounds good.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world?
I mean, the world as we know it.
Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
Okay, so let's go ahead and say I'm here to talk.
Then why did you bring a knife with you? How about you drop it, and then we can chat.
She makes a compelling point. What if we just dropped the blade and talked? Look at her. It's not like she's a threat. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster, but killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
Yeah, it's a good thing you don't remember those other timelines. Okay, so the quickest way to do this is to drop the
The
blade.
blade tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
I'll do a little bit of
Against
talking.
your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess face to face. Unarmed.
We'll be fine.
I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
Okay. So our next princess that we're aiming for is the adversary. So we can say pretty much anything on here with the exception of this one, because this one will actually lock you into the tower. So I'm cool with going through some of these. Okay.
Don't jump to any weird conclusions. We're two people who have met each other. By definition, we have a relationship.
And yet, usually after one timeline, we're at least somewhat chilly with each other, or at least have a relationship where we somewhat like each other. I guess dying together sometimes does that. Can't say that, what's your name?
She hesitates before answering.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really.
Note the lack of detail. You can't trust her.
Let's see. Okay, we've talked enough. Yeah.
Oh, have you decided what to do with me?
Yes, I have.
You know why you're here.
Okay, we are slaying the princess.
Doubt, unfortunately, clouds your thoughts as you attempt to run her through.
Yeah. Adversary overall is pretty easy to get. All you have to do is hesitate and also not question whether she has her own blade for the most part.
A moment of distraction and hesitation is all she needed to sidestep your thrust and deliver a catastrophic blow to your jaw.
But I do like doing it this way for this specific reason.
It feels like you've been hit with a sledgehammer. You can feel bone grinding on bone where your jaw has been fractured.
Ow.
Holy shit, that hurt! Though she's unarmed, the shock of that first strike is enough to stagger you, putting you and the princess on somewhat equal footing. Your blade slashes through the air again and again, and her fists connect with your body as many times or more, each impact as heavy as that first bone-crushing hit. We can still turn this around.
That didn't sound like confidence, my man. Okay, I love going this way simply because, you know, it gives you all three of these options. If you choose other stuff, you usually get locked into, like, specifically give up, or maybe you only have give up and flee the basement. In this case, we're gonna finish the job.
You and the princess stare at each other, both gasping for breath, equally exhausted. You probably won't make it out of here alive, but you can at least make sure that she won't make it out of here either. Excuse me? Do you think this is what I wanted to happen? I have a duty to state the facts of the situation, and honestly, it's a miracle anyone is still standing right now.
It is really interesting about that, like, why is the narrator supposedly restricted to just stating facts? I mean, we know, well, anyone who's seen, like, the prisoner or damsel route, we know you can do other stuff. But then again, to be fair, the other voices have been able to do stuff, like forces to do stuff and whatnot.
Can you not feel all those ruptured organs bouncing around in there? If the princess doesn't do our friend in herself, internal bleeding is certain to finish the job. The two of you clash for the final time. You feel your ribs break as she delivers a heavy blow, but you push through the pain, falling forward and sinking your blade deep into the princess's heart.
Oh.
The two of you fall to the floor.
This was fun.
Yeah, it's about to become more fun.
The princess gasps, her voice an unhealthy rasp as her lungs start to fill with blood.
You put up more of a fight than I thought you would. But I have to wonder.
See, This is what I mean by the princesses tends to be more dominant than us. We had the blade. Like, by all means, it should feel like we're at an advantage against an unarmed princess, but she just boxes us to death.
Do you really think this is the end?
But you don't have time to worry over such things. Everything goes dark, and you die.
The adversary.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Alright, let's go slay that princess. I mean, I guess I can say this. I already slew the princess. I mean, I technically did my job.
I can assure you that you didn't slay her and that she didn't kill you. People don't just spring back to life after dying, and the two of us are meeting for the very first time.
I really am curious what would happen if the narrator actually humored you. If the narrator just went like, yeah, you already killed the princess. You know, when you go down there, you're not gonna see anything other than a corpse and you'll be all good. Then you just leave the cabin and you get your reward and that's it. That'd be interesting. But he always seems to want to put things back into the box, even though, you know.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me.
Okay.
That's fine. It doesn't matter if he can hear us. The only thing that matters is marching up to that cabin and winning.
Agreed.
That's the spirit. There's no point in squabbling when the real threat is just up that hill.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. To the cabin we go. Me and the boys off to...
A warning before you
slay
go
the
any
princess.
further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
Lying and cheating doesn't sound like her at all. Not that it matters. It's not like she can lie or cheat in the middle of a fight.
The witch says differently.
Are you sure about that? The point of my warning wasn't to start an argument over what circumstances the princess is capable of lying in. It was to give you some broadly applicable advice. The princess will do and say whatever she thinks it will take to get her out of there, so don't trust her. Ever. Are we clear?
I mean, whatever you say.
Crystal, let's just get on with it already.
Let's go in that cabin. Take your time there, game.
The cabin is tighter than its exterior would suggest. Its cold stone walls press in on you, as if trying to forcefully direct you towards your destination. The only furniture of note is a black iron altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
Cool.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
I suppose. Unfortunately, yeah. If we want to be the princess's equal, other than in that specific razor path, we really do need that blade. But let's check out the mirror first.
You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here.
Oh, if there's an Easter egg.
What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror. Or at least it'll be a mirror once we wipe off that layer of grime.
Again, I think a dirty mirror is still a mirror, regardless.
You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now.
We're only as ridiculous as you describe us.
But there was a mirror a second ago.
And now it's gone, so all of us can stop arguing about it and get to fighting.
Okay, taking the blade.
You take the blade from the altar. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon.
Let's go into the basement.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a rough stone staircase, its walls pressing at your sides and tightening as you descend. The air seeping from below is heavy and oppressive, with an almost sulphuric odor to it. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. Her fierce voice carries up the stairs.
Carries again. Interesting.
Is that another challenger? Finally. It's been ages since I've had a good fight.
What do you mean? I feel like for me it's only been a second. I'm really curious how long for the princess it takes me to actually get back here.
This isn't what she sounded like last time. Her voice is a little deeper, almost threatening.
Good. Sounds like my kind of princess.
As much as I appreciate the enthusiasm, just make sure you don't let your bloodlust get to your head. You need to stay focused and keep your wits about you. Remember, you're here to slay the princess, not to have a good fight.
Agreed. We're here to win, not just have fun. Remember what you said earlier.
As you descend the final step, the form of the princess comes into view, a large shackle leading from her wrist to the basement wall. Looks like she could rip those chains out of the wall without a second thought.
I mean, honestly, she probably could earlier, based on her beating us to death.
Oh, it's you again. I'd been hoping you'd find your way back here. Good to see that death doesn't stick for either of us. And you brought your little knife, too. Yes!
Man, can you at least pretend it's a pristine blade and not a tiny kitchen knife?
I'm going to have fun breaking you into little pieces.
Okay. So let's see. I'm not gonna say I'm actually here to free you, though. Oh my gosh. Love that path. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know what happened to you since last time we met, but I'm not fighting a giant demon lady. Turn around and leave without saying anything. Man. Let's see, sure, let's unpack a few things. Like, how we're both still alive.
What is there to unpack? I was dead and now I'm not, and the same goes for you. There. Unpacking done.
But why?
Don't you get it? We've been given free rein to wail on each other. Forever.
I mean, you assume that, but I have the specific goal of slaying you, not fighting you endlessly.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, fine. I believe you. What? What you said earlier in the woods, I believe you. You've already met the princess, and the princess has already met you. That's all the more reason to take this seriously.
Alright.
You don't know that whatever brought the two of you back to life isn't a fluke. And beyond that, do you know who doesn't remember anything that happened last time? Me. I don't remember.
You know, you could try to be a lot more convincing. Like, if you were a little nicer, then, you know, we probably wouldn't question that. Like, I know that's actually true, because I've played this game multiple times, but, man, even then, you still kind of question it.
Are you okay?
Of course I'm not okay.
As far as we're all concerned, the fate of my world is still very much on the line. Not all of us have the luxury of jumping over to a parallel universe the second we die.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never died. Do you see how alive I am right now? Someone as alive as me already have died? I didn't think so. Don't worry, I'm gonna do a good job. Sure. In honor of the Razor, who we defeated, we will speak these
Don't
words.
try to lie to me, just please take this seriously.
Agreed. We can't win unless you treat this fight with the gravity it deserves.
I haven't decided what I'm doing yet.
You haven't decided? We talked more than enough last time. Do you really have anything else to say? Or are you just stalling because you're scared I'm going to kill you?
Okay, that's funny. That's funny. Because that's right. We barely talked before I changed my mind and decided to kill her. I'm curious if that's different, if you decide to do like all of the different talking points before you go for adversary.
If you want to talk, I guess I can talk. But you should come a little closer first.
Cool. Sounds nice.
Blade held tight in your hand, you take a cautious step towards the princess. You stop a few feet short of her reach, her chains taut as she stares down at you. She's a lot bigger than I thought she was.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how tall we are, but I feel like she's taller than us now.
Why do you sound so scared? We can take her.
I mean, I agree, but, you know.
Well, what do you want? Because every second we waste talking is a second we could spend killing each other instead.
Why do you want us to kill each other?
Why wouldn't I want that? Why don't you want that? It felt good last time. It felt right. And it makes sense.
See, that's so interesting because it almost feels like this princess instinctually knows what you and her are supposed to do, that like conflict is just purely and you and the princess's nature, but it isn't like per se the Spectre where she feels like she should be somewhere else, or like the Tower who almost already knows what she is. Don't you want to be free?
Free?
The princess glances down at her chains.
Oh, you mean these? They're just metal. They're nothing.
She steps forward, her bindings creaking under the pressure of her strength. And then they snap. It was only a matter of time, but she's loose.
Dear Lord. What do we do?
I mean, we're good. We're still gonna slay her. Don't worry about the metal chains. We know what we're gonna do.
You took the blade. How about you use it?
Exactly. We do exactly what I've been telling you to do since the second we got here. We fight her, we kill her, we win.
What? Did you think you were safe standing right outside my grasp? The only reason I haven't drawn blood is because I want to make sure that your heart is in it. I don't like fighting someone with a weak spirit.
Okay, Goku.
But go ahead. Keep trying my patience.
Yeah, I can keep doing that. But, I mean, you were put down here for a reason. I was sent to kill you for a reason. Don't you care what that reason is?
I don't need to care, because I already know what I am. I've already found my purpose.
The princess flashes a sinister grin.
You.
Does she mean her purpose is killing us?
Oh, it does remind me of the Razor a little bit. She just kinda... Both of them don't really pursue leaving the cabin like the other princesses do. Like, the other princesses actively want to leave the cabin, but the Razor and the Adversary are totally chill just fighting you for eternity. Or, you know, until you can't fight anymore.
No, she means fighting us. She means both of us getting stronger through sheer pain and will, the fear of death no longer able to hold us back. Just start stabbing her already. I'm sick of all this anticipation. We're ready.
If all you want to do is fight me, does that mean you won't end the world?
The world? If there's a world, I haven't seen it. There's you, and there's me, and there's the ground beneath our feet.
See, that's also interesting, because it puts the princess also in the same perspective of us. Like, we never see any worlds actually get destroyed, and we just, it makes it very hard to actually feel for that. Obviously, the princess, it's even more confined because all she has is the cabin. So it's almost like the rest of the world doesn't even exist for her.
Why would I care about ending something I've never seen?
Fair point. I'm not going to fight you. I'm just actively not gonna fight you. Maybe another time, but I know what I need to do.
Finally ready to complete your destined task, you launch off the wet stone floor of the basement and catapult yourself headlong towards the princess.
Yeet.
Here we go. Let's make this count.
Oh, we'll make it count, all right.
As you bridge the gap, your blade slashes across the princess's chest, splitting skin and drawing a jagged line of bright red blood. But she's unfazed by your onslaught. Her expression barely changes as her fist collides with your ribs, cracking them like twigs and driving you right back down to the basement floor.
Man. Of all the different kind of creatures I had to be a bird person with fragile bird bones.
She almost looks disappointed in us. Why is she disappointed in us?
Because we're gonna go about things differently.
Oh, you don't actually get it, do you? That knife may be sharp, but you clearly don't want to kill me. It's not fun if you hesitate. It's not fun if you try to trick me and make me bleed out. It's only fun if you go straight for the heart.
But all the things that you just suggested are how I win, so I don't know, you're just gonna have to cope.
You need to put everything you have into seeing me dead. Or what's the point? So don't be afraid. Don't hesitate. Kill me.
Don't let her get in your head. Reincarnation or not, this world needs you to win.
Agreed.
She's huge, but that probably means she's slower than us. Take it slow, think it through, and don't panic. Bleeding her out is our best course of action.
Don't listen to them. She understands something that they don't. The only way to win, the only way out of this is through her.
We're baited.
You push yourself off the ground and attack the princess, trying to bait an opening. You do your best to outplay her, slashing out and leaving red cuts in the tattered remains of her white dress. But you have little room to maneuver. For every glancing blow you manage to land, she slams you against the wall in retaliation, each impact threatening to be the last.
Man, feel like we're freaking just tarnished in Elden Ring. It's like, I'm just trying to do my best. This guy's like 3 times my size.
This weak little dance isn't working. Just toughen up and overpower her.
No, we're gonna go for something different, and it'll work out. Just trust the system.
She's throwing us around like a ragdoll. I think overpowering her is a little out of the question.
Did you think you could stop me with a few cuts? All this dancing around is doing nothing but annoying me. I own this place, and I own you.
Yeah. Also, very interesting choice of words. Because for a lot of princesses, if anything, it's the other way around. Cabin almost owns the princess, just like actively trying to keep her down there. Huh.
The princess's arm shoots forward, her palm wrapping around your head, fingers gripping your skull.
Man, this is rough.
How disappointing.
Wait 1 second. Okay. I think it's all good.
She squeezes, the pressure unbearable as her fingers dig into your scalp. The last thing you hear is the unsettling crack of your skull, and the sickening churn of what was your grey matter.
Don't worry, we got this.
Everything goes dark, and you die.
The Eye of the Needle. Okay, this is what we want.
You're on a path in the wood. If you weren't so damned afraid of what she'd do to you, we wouldn't have died back there.
Fear is good. Fear keeps us alive. We died because you didn't have enough of it.
Yep, that is true. Okay, so this is the pair we want. Oddly enough, Stubborn and Hunted is like a really good pair. They're just, perfect for taking down the princess. So, this isn't gonna be the last time we see this pairing.
So what? You'd have us cower in a corner?
No, but that place suits her better than it suits us. She's big. We can't hope to find holes and openings down there. We need more room if we're going to survive.
Are you suggesting luring her into the woods? Do you have any idea how dangerous that would be? If you lose sight of her, if she manages to slip away, that's it. Game over for everyone, yourself included.
There's only one thing. This isn't really the type of princess to just run off. Any other princess, if you tried to go like, yeah, I'll fight you outside, they'd probably just ditch you.
Are you not challenging us on all the looping? Have you known about it the whole time? Are you the same one we've been talking to since the beginning?
Unfortunately, no.
Sorry to disappoint what I'm sure must feel like a grand revelation, but that's not what's going on here. We've never met. Then what is going on? What's going on is that you'd only be saying the things you've been saying if you'd already been here, and if you'd already seen things you weren't supposed to have seen. It doesn't matter. We could go in circles forever. I don't like staying still for too long. Let's get to the cabin, see this through.
Whoa. Okay, I know I've ever noticed the tree roots before. So it's almost like the path, instead of being on top of the ground, on top of a hill like it normally is, it's almost just carved into the ground. That's so interesting.
It's good to know that at least one of you is still capable of reason. We may have the same destination, but we're not the same. You are still an other, and I don't trust you.
Yeah, sounds about the idea of this playthrough. Could have just been happy with the void, but we're going for something different.
Well, fortunately, you have an entire trip through the woods to reconsider that.
There's nothing to reconsider. We're all for violence here.
Sounds good.
Are we? I haven't signed off on anything yet.
Bro, she's killed us twice. I think we're at a point where we can prescribe to violence.
Violence is the answer here, but the method is equally important to the act. You can't let her leave the cabin.
Says you.
It's like I said, all just circles. Instinct tells me we need space, and I trust instinct. Nothing else to say. Not for me.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. Because her influence starts with influencing the cabin. And even then, the cabin still kind of pushes back on things, with it still wanting to keep her confined there. But now it's, affecting the woods. I am kind of curious how far it could go. No. Yeah, let's head to the cabin. Let's go.
It isn't long before you find yourself at the end of the path, staring up the hill at the cabin. I hope you've given serious thought to your predicament.
Jeez, it is cool. Because even like the path, it's not a regular path anymore. It's all just etched and carved into the ground. It's so cool.
No last advice for us? No words of warning?
We don't need it.
From what I gather, you've heard it all before. There's no use screaming into the wind.
I don't know. Screaming sounds pretty good right about now. I could use a little catharsis.
That'd be funny if in the pristine cut, the only change to this is you have the option to just scream.
Catharsis is for when we're finished. For now, we need to hold it out in front of us, something to chase.
Yeah, good mindset. Another pause. Let's head into the cabin. Cabin time, go.
The interior of the cabin is suffocatingly tight, more of a glorified tunnel than a building. Its stone walls squeeze against your sides, leaving you no choice but to press forward. The only furniture of note is an iron altar jutting out from the wall, a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you're going to do this right. See? We have even less space than before. We need space or she'll kill us. And the only space is out there.
Now I'm just thinking, if a Dark Souls boss battle was just a very confined space, that doesn't sound like fun. That just scares me. Just like, oh, I can't touch your attacks, there's not enough room. This isn't cool, that's not nice, it's not fair.
Take it.
Yeah, we taken that blade.
You take the blade from the altar. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon.
Yeah.
Good. There's no overcoming her without it. We need every part of us to survive, and that steel claw is as much a part of us as any.
Yeah, you're not wrong. The blade is generally always there, and it always looks the same, no matter how much time passes. So, it's like us, unchanging. other than the voices. Let's go do something about the mirror.
You step forward and approach the door to the basement, hesitating before you open it, as if you don't see it. You do see it, right?
All we see is a damned mirror.
This really is just like last time. It smells of nothing, yet it's still there.
Yeah. Very odd. Wipe it clean.
You reach forward and drag your hand across the door leading to the basement. As if on command, it slowly slides open, scraping against the floor as it reveals the dim path ahead.
Nice.
Why am I not surprised?
It is what it is.
It was in our way, and now it's not. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Before you is what may as well be a sheer cliff face. There are enough footholds that you'll be able to clamber your way to the bottom, but it will require careful effort. The air hissing up from below is warm and wet, like the breath of an enemy locked in close quarters. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor.
I don't know, she seems to like this place.
Her voice, bold and fierce and impatient, echoes from the chamber below.
Do you have more fight in you than last time? That was such a disappointing show. I know you can do better than that.
Yeah, we can, because this time we're gonna win.
Goad her. Rile her up. If she's angry, she'll make mistakes.
Agreed. Let's see. I know you can get out of there on your own. There's no point in me going down there.
But that wouldn't be fun. I don't want to be a monster chasing you down. I want to face you head on. I want an equal. It's so much better that way.
Man, that's so... Okay, that's so interesting. Because, again, the route that this specifically parallels as the tower, and it also kind of parallels the witch as well, but it parallels the tower, and the tower does not care for an equal. The tower doesn't want an equal. She wants someone below her that will do everything she says. But the adversary specifically wants an equal. Someone that she can match strength with. And the witch is a parallel as well, because both of you are equally, trying to, manipulate the other, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But the witch is very equal as well, in that you guys are just as underhanded as each other.
We need to get closer. She needs to see us to give chase. You've nowhere to go but down. You start the difficult journey, gripping the stone, lowering yourself foot by grueling foot. But soon, there is solid ground beneath you. Remember, every crack and crevice will need to be faster than her.
Yes. Or maybe we could just
You turn
be
to
equal
face
speed.
what lies at the end of the narrow tunnel. The princess, imposing and tightly muscled, grins back at you from the darkness. Her face widens into a broad grin.
It's a little scary.
There you are, knife in hand. How thrilling! Attack me, bleed me, twist the blade in my flesh, break your bones against my body. I want a real challenge this time.
We can't get that close. She'll kill us in the tight space, steel claw or not. Make her come to us, stand beyond her chains, and let her become frenzied. She'll break them. Then we run.
And then we win.
I really don't like the sound of this.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of ways this mess this up.
It's the only way we live.
Well, what are you waiting for? If we're gonna do this right, you can't be scared. You need to want this as much as I do.
No, in this specific moment, I need to want this more than you.
So go on. Make the first move. Don't keep me waiting.
Huh. Bit more space. I'm not fighting you. Step closer. Let's talk a bit. Should be anything, really, that makes her go like, right after me.
We've talked plenty. I'm sick of talking. I'm sick of waiting. I'm sick of you standing just out of reach and teasing me with a fight you won't let me have.
I mean, I can choose whatever I want to do. If I don't want to fight you, I don't have to fight you. I mean, I do want to fight you, just not here, but,
You
know.
disappointed me last time, so you don't get to choose what happens next.
Says you.
Bloody desire in her eyes, the princess rushes forward, ignoring her chains as they bend and snap.
Wah.
Run.
Without hesitation, you turn back the way you came and scramble up the ledge towards the tunnel entrance. As you near the top, hands desperately clawing at jagged stone, you glance back. The princess is right on your heels. She doesn't bother to scale the wall as you do, instead digging deep into the rock of the cliff face with her fingertips in her rabid pursuit.
Anywhere you go, I will follow.
Sounds good.
Good. You reach the ledge and hoist yourself up into the tunnel, the cabin door finally in sight, at once within your grasp and infinitely distant.
What is all of this for? What's the point? You and I are always going to end in violence, so why bother to run? I know what I am. Why can't you be the same?
Well, that's because I like to take advantage of what I am in order to win.
Little bird, where do you think you're going?
Outside.
We're almost there. Don't think about almost. We're there when we're there.
And we'll take the fight with us.
Your skin hums tight with adrenaline as you burst through the cabin door and roll onto the grass.
Yes. Oh golly. Okay. So, depending on how your options go, normally you don't get locked into running out of the cabin door. So this is just convenient for the Let's Play. Usually you question whether you should go out the door or not. Or at least the narrator poses the question, but I guess we've been consistent in how we do things.
You glance back at the cabin as the princess, singular in her desire to destroy you, explodes through the doorway. You are walking a dangerous path. If you waver once, it's all over. So get it right.
There's nothing left to slow me down. Do you think this is better for you? Do you think this space gives you an edge? Then show me! Show me that you've been worth all the room you've taken up in my head!
I'm worth that and so much more.
Do it! Be swift, strike true, be where she's not. Let your body move you.
Which, again, I think that fits perfectly with the empty cup razor ending. Like, you almost, even with the other version, the assured mutual destruction or whatever, mutual assured destruction side of razor. In the end of that, you just do exactly that. You let your body move you. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna win. You've fallen right into my trap. Sure, let's be a Yu-Gi-Oh villain for a second.
Oh, we'll see about that. Traps aren't real. The only thing that's real is bloodshed.
I don't know. We'll see.
She charges, fully determined to end you in a single move. Left, now! As the princess strikes, your body swerves to the left. She overextends, stumbling as her balance shifts unexpectedly. Strike. Before you can finish the thought, you lash out, the blade slicing through her leg. She turns to swing again. Right. You move out of the way, but this time it's not quite as clean. You can feel a bruise already blooming where her elbow crashed into flesh. It's nothing. A scratch.
Yeah, we got this. We're good. We're good.
Yes, it could be worse. And you managed to gift her another cut in return. I'll be damned.
Man, you should have been praising us this whole time. I mean, you say we can do this, but you also are very specific in how the princess takes us out.
We're actually gonna pull this off, aren't we?
Yeah, we got this. No issue. We only had to, die a couple of times to do this.
You just might. But don't let it get to your head. Not until it's over.
Yes, finally! This is the hole I felt in my heart. This is what I've needed. This is what I've been missing. This is how it always needed to end. Both of us giving it our all, beating and bleeding each other to death.
You're about to see this is gonna be very one-sided.
The two of you engage in a devastating flurry of blows, each of you wounding the other again and again.
Man, golly, this is such a gorgeous game. Golly.
She's stronger, but you're faster, and the deeper the both of you fall into your lethal dance, the more your edge shines over hers. She's slowing down, blood pouring from wounds, splattering at her feet, leaving her weak and unsteady.
More! Keep going! We can't stop now!
You spy an opening, but this time she's waiting for you. She lets you sink the blade deep, trapping you in place long enough to wrap you in her impenetrable arms. You're slammed to the ground.
Yeah, a person who says there are no traps uses a trap.
Nothing! These blows are nothing to us!
See, this is why Stubborn and Hunted are such a golden combo. Stubborn, he's gonna push through he'll help you push through the pain and whatnot, and keep on pushing forward, regardless of how rough things get. And then Hunted is gonna make sure you stay alive. He's gonna make sure you follow your instincts when you need to, and just that combo is just great.
But her gambit wasn't enough to close the gap. It wasn't enough to kill you. She stares you down, coughing up a splash of blood as she gasps for breath.
You've outplayed me, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Something feels wrong. Something.
Bye-bye.
And then what happens?
But you do not have the chance to respond, nor will you ever. It's time for you to leave. Memory returns.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
I'm not gonna say that. That would get us a different ending, and it's not necessarily a winning ending. So I'm just gonna be nice.
But it feels so bad. Like looking into it right now is going to be the end of everything. That thing reeks of death.
Screw the mirror! We just need to find the princess!
We can only find the princess through the mirror. It's not the end. Whatever's on the other side, it's gonna be nice. It'll be fine. Just trust me, bro.
Okay. If you say so. We'll trust you.
I'd like to be somewhere nice.
Maybe there'll be a good fight there. Maybe we'll find her again.
You approach the mirror. Gaze into your reflection. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone once again. The mirror always makes them leave. You need to see what's in it. You've withered. You find yourself in the long quiet once again. So, another thing about the mirror is it's very interesting. Like, obviously our bodies decaying, like, you know, anyone who's seen Slay the Princess will see that our body is gradually decaying, and it's almost like with each princess we get, with each group of voices we get, we're learning more and more that we don't have a body, or at least not in the sense that a person has a body. This body that we actually have is simply something almost like artificially given to us, so that we can play out all these scenarios. You find yourself in the long quiet once again. This is really interesting stuff. You are at the cabin. Man. Approach her.
I am a growing chorus of contradiction, a mass of tides ebbing and flowing all at once in more directions than my attention can bear to hold. To look at any one is to shift them all into something new, and to look away is to reshape them yet again. All of me is changing, and yet the rest of me is still the same.
We are the same. We are more or less the same. Maybe a little less change than the princess, but overall, yeah. If you hear the voices, there's quite a few contradictions in our nature. How can you stand to be a contradiction?
As easily as you can stand to be you. You are like me, even if you have chosen not to look at the corners of you that do not fit. Even if you have chosen to ignore the brilliant contours of your soul.
No, I acknowledge them. I'm just asking you. I'm still planning on killing you once we're done with this.
If that remains your choice when all is said and done, then you may try. But know that I do not wish you harm, even if you attempt to destroy me.
Okay. What do you think of this vessel?
This one yearns to grow and struggle. Even now I feel a will pushing against mine, not realizing that we are one. She will make for a fierce heart. Do not mourn her. We will provide her with the growth she fought for.
Yeah, I didn't really provide her with that. I kinda just won. Well, first I disappointed her, and then I just defeated her. I don't think that's necessarily a path for growth. You can't be a contradiction. Contradictions don't exist.
And yet my waters flow and my streets bustle. There are no words that can describe me into non-existence. There is no logic that can bind my multitudes. I am everything that you have known me to be, but I am also none of it.
couple more vessels.
I care about your gifts, but I have no preferences to burden you with. Even if I did, I would never dare to tarnish our relationship by assuming myself above you.
You know, that fits perfectly in line with this, princess, and if I were to get the tower at this point, it would be very ironic. Heck, if I got the beast at this point, it would be ironic too. Doesn't matter how many times I go back, at least one of us always hurts the other. Doesn't that change you? Doesn't that make you worse?
It changes me, but it doesn't make me worse, nor does it make me care for you any less. Does it make you worse? Do you resent me?
I mean, all of these endings have overall worked in my favor, so I guess I can't really say so. Remain silent. Which, for the... Oh boy. Golly. Kinda... Peep the mic for a second. Odd. Sure, remain silent.
You are what brings me meaning. Know that the pain of your journey will subside in due time.
Oh. Dialogue I'd never heard before.
But you still have a ways to go before we are done.
Man. I mean, even just looking at how the hands are holding her, like, it's always unique to every single princess. Like, for example, her right hand, how it's, supporting the other right hand, and is even giving you a good scale of just how large this princess is, and how the hands don't really match. Jeez. Do you know what happens to the worlds we leave behind?
My perspectives are shadowed. You have seen what I have seen, just as I have seen what you have seen. The angles of my vantage do not offer me hidden truths, and my attention is turned inward, except when you are here with me. Perhaps this will change when our work is done.
I think I'm ready to go back.
I will be here when it is time for us to meet again.
Everything goes dark and you die. You're in the princess.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Viva the revolution.
That's the spirit.
Okay.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
It depends on the princess we're going for.
We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them.
Sorry, you're in the wrong place.
Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I mean, he kind of literally doesn't know what he's talking about because he doesn't get to remember. Into the cabin I go.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Cool. We will not take the blade for the remainder of our time. At least for the moment.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
Hoi.
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life.
Okay, so for these last two princesses, I'm gonna just let the conversation flow naturally. As long as I don't aim for damsel or nightmare, I should be fine. You know, as long as I either get witch or beast.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
Don't worry about it, bro. We've been doing good so far. Just checking in on you.
You are? It's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about me.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone?
I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains?
Well, based on our earlier encounters, no. Let's see. Hold on, let's talk a bit first.
Okay.
I am actually curious about something, and just how much of a parallel the beast is to Tower. I was sent to here to slay you. You're apparently supposed to end the world. So, if Beast is like Tower, what this option should do is kind of lock us into the Beast route. Most likely. Or at least make it a lot more likely that we'll end up going the Beast route. But I don't think you're actually dangerous, but I'm starting to think it's true. There's something about you that doesn't feel right.
Would everything feel right about you if you were locked away in a hole by yourself for as long as you can remember?
No. Probably not. But, I mean, I'd probably seem dangerous, but not dangerous in the sense of, you know, I would hurt you, but in the sense of, like, you could tell I'm not a very trusting person at that point.
Just how long has she been down here?
So, did they tell you why I'm supposed to be so dangerous?
Sure, I'll say that. I'll absolutely contradict what I just said. Hey, I think you're gonna end the world, and I think I actually believe you could end the world. By the way, no, which is why I don't think you're actually dangerous.
Sooner or later, you'll learn to trust me. Hopefully it won't be too late when you finally come around.
Thank you for believing me. Now, can you help me get out of here?
Still have a few more questions.
There's going to be plenty of time to chat after I'm free, but okay. What do you want to know?
If I'm the first person you've seen in a while, what have you been eating or drinking?
I don't see what that has to do with anything.
This is the only time this is ever going to happen, but I agree with the princess. That's hardly relevant.
Which is odd, because I'm pretty sure it's in specifically the nightmare route. Your character themselves actually starves to death and dies in one of the paths there. So, could the princess starve if we, believed she needed food?
Okay, but actually, what has she been eating? She has to eat, right?
Yeah. No, don't do that. No, don't keep her locked on, don't. Let's see. I could do this. And let's continue leaving it up in the air. Let's go get that blade. Sorry, I just can't trust you. This doesn't add up. It isn't worth the risk to take your word over the potential fate of the world. So, I know this will definitely lock us into either getting Nightmare, Witch, or Beast, but we'll see.
Thank
Let's go
you.
get that blade.
You turn back to the stairs, intent on retrieving the blade in the cabin.
Yeah, let's go.
You'll regret this. I promise you. But go ahead. Run along and get whatever you're planning to get.
That's actually funny. What if we retrieve... I bet she says the same thing if we retrieve the blade without a word. Because technically, for all she knows, we could be just going upstairs in order to look for a key. Obviously not right now. We directly said, yeah, sorry, I can't trust you. I'm gonna go and get the blade. But if we got the blade without a word, I guess, she'd see through any, our intent, I guess.
But you'd better hope that I don't slip these chains before you make it back down here.
Okay.
Slip these chains? She can't, right? She needed our help to get out of here. But do you hear the conviction in her voice? I don't think she's bluffing.
And because you don't think she's bluffing, she isn't bluffing.
She has to be bluffing, but hurry. You rush up to the first floor, grabbing the blade, both yours and the world's only possible salvation. Okay, if we're sure about this decision, I'll support it. I suppose we have a world to save after all.
Let's go.
You slowly creep down the basement stairs. It's quiet.
But it isn't the long quiet.
Where the princess sat only a moment ago, there's only a severed arm, its cooling flesh still chained to the wall. And she is nowhere to be seen.
So let me see. I wonder.
Is it just me? Or did this room get a lot bigger?
It's just you. Let's see. Let's finish this.
Your eyes dart to the corners of the room. You don't see her. Where is she?
So, I'm gonna investigate the arm. Because depending on my dialogue, either she goes for me, or she's just gonna go for the door. So, I'll leave it up to the princess.
As you step towards the severed
She
limb,
went for the
you hear
door.
the pattering of feet behind you, soft against the basement floor, then loud and desperate against the stairs. You turn to chase after the princess, but she's fast and has too much of a lead. She slams the door behind her before you can make it to the top of the stairs. The lock clicks into place.
Hey, narrator, you want to help us out here?
No.
Thanks for letting me out. I'd return the favor, but I think we both know that I can't trust you to let me stay free.
Well, like I said, the cabin's kind of a homie. So even if she's this far, she still can't leave.
You should understand. It just isn't worth the risk.
Fair? That's fair.
With those parting words, the princess walks away. Her quiet
Oh,
footsteps
okay,
eventually
she actually
fading
leads to the
as she
cabin.
leaves you and the cabin to rot. You're stuck here,
Huh.
alone.
I don't remember the cabin laying her out. Huh. I'll have to ask her about that.
It can't just end like this, right?
Sure it can. And guess what? You believe we need food to live, so...
As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. I'm sorry, but it's over. You don't know how much time passes before the end, but eventually, it comes.
You know, could you just not read your script and us, stay to where nothing's changing?
The world ends, and you end with it.
Chapter 2, The Witch.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Let's go ahead and save, because that's just smart, and then return.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Let's just go. Let's go. To the cabin we go.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
Yes, she will use the power of irony against you.
Don't worry. You can trust us to get the job done.
Yeah, just trust us, bro. Let's go.
The interior of the cabin is a mess of twisted roots. The walls a chaotic weave of knotted wood that, almost as if by accident, just happened to resemble a room. The floor is damp and earthy, and the only furniture of note is a slab of mud in the shape of a shelf, with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Jeez. You good, Prince? Wait 1 second. Alright. I had to walk my dog real quick. Let's continue. Let's look at that mirror.
You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror.
Yeah.
You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now.
Okay, we do actually need to take the blade. Interestingly enough, entering the basement without it, oddly enough, you and the princess are equals. In the sense of that, but yeah, let's take the
You
blade.
take the blade from the shelf. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Well, if we're grabbing a weapon, we should probably keep it hidden behind our backs. She doesn't have to know we have it. That's not actually a bad idea.
Yep, fair. Let's go down to the basement.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase dug into the muddy earth below. The ceiling is thick with roots that hang like locks of tangled hair. The weak starlight from the cabin windows behind you can barely penetrate the gloom here, only illuminating the edges of an opening below. It shines in the darkness like some kind of massive maw waiting to swallow you up into the earth. The air smells of dirt and copper. It's thick and wet, as if your lungs are being coated in mud with each intake of breath. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor.
I don't know about that. She doesn't seem to, mind her surroundings. I mean, she definitely wants to leave, but...
Her voice skitters up from below.
Something nasty finds itself on my stairs. Come on down. Don't be scared. I probably won't bite.
Hello.
I recognize that voice as easily as I recognized your nervous little footsteps coming up the path. I know who you are, and I remember what you've done.
I mean, you don't remember all of it, so you don't know how this is gonna end.
She must have you confused with someone else.
Yeah, she's just confused with you for some other bird person, that's out here.
She seems friendly enough. Maybe we can talk our way out of this whole situation.
Sure.
You can't. Unless you slay her right away, she's going to break free and end the world. There's no reasoning with what she is. Look, I'm just throwing ideas out there. I like to think out loud. I'm the kind of guy who likes a discussion. Don't we want to hear what everyone has to say before making any big decisions?
Sometimes, but,
Do you want to hear what everyone has to say? Or do you just want to hear yourself talk? You need to stop lingering. Your task is to slay the princess, not endlessly debate about what to do with the princess.
golly, that would also be an interesting ending. You and the voices are just in an eternal conflict of what to do with the princess, and the princess is just stuck staring at you.
Fine. You're the boss. Thank you. You descend the basement steps, entering the dark room below.
A very pointy design as well, similar to Razor.
You can just make out the shape of the princess in the gloom. She's huddled against the far wall, her eyes bright and glaring from amid the thick roots.
And there you are, one hand tucked away behind your back, gripping that sharp, sharp blade, no doubt.
I don't have a sheath, so...
That's no fair. How would she know that?
Well, seems like a somewhat good judge of character. Maybe not always the best.
So, we've dropped the pretenses.
I mean, I was at least hiding the blade, so I wouldn't say that.
Good.
She's acting like the two of you already know each other. Oh, no. You've already been here, haven't you? That's pretty sharp. How'd you figure that one out? Call it deductive reasoning. Well, you seem to be great at it.
Yeah, maybe if we're nice enough to the narrator, he'll be nice back.
Do you remember us then? Do you remember last time? No, I don't. But you and the princess clearly have a shared reality, even if I'm not a part of it. I won't waste time fighting you on something that's clearly true.
Fair enough.
I'm just glad we could put all this behind us. Is it all behind us?
I mean, not yet. We still got a little while to go.
Just focus on the task at hand. I don't care if you've been here before, and I don't care if you think you'll go somewhere else after this. My world is on the line right now, so I'd appreciate it if you would take this seriously and slay her. Let's
Okay.
chat her up a bit first. Maybe we can find a middle ground where everyone's happy.
Not really.
Don't talk to her. You're just going to make things more difficult than they have to be.
Well, I seem to remember you having a tongue.
I'm sorry, I'm debating with the voices in my head. You're just gonna have to be patient. You know what? Fair enough. I technically didn't get the chance to do anything. I definitely had the intent of doing something, but, you know. Fair enough.
That is an exceptionally good point.
And you were the conniving beast that left in search of steel to slay me. Just because I won and you lost doesn't mean I'm to blame for bad blood.
Also a good point.
Darn it. Opportunists, stay out of my mind.
She can't even hear you. Why are you trying to brown nose her?
True.
I'm not brown nosing anyone. I'm just taking a fair and balanced approach and hearing out everything that everyone has to say. If she's in the wrong, then you don't have anything to worry about.
But I must confess, this place never let me out into the world.
See?
While you were gasping your last down below, I was trying to claw and bash and break my way out. But I never did manage to be free. Until finally, I found myself here again, and you were gone.
Okay. This makes me wonder. Is this because the narrator lied to us? Because last time it definitely said that the princess left. She left the cabin. And she became free into the world, and then the world ended, and we ended with it. But she's specifically saying right now that she never left. She never got a chance to leave the cabin, which was how I was remembering it, that, you know, on her own, she can't leave the cabin. That's weird. I wonder if that dialogue maybe is supposed to... That's so weird. I mean, it might just flat out be a continuity error, but it feels like either the princess is lying or the narrator is lying. But I don't feel like the princess would lie about not being able to find a way out like this.
It seems that you get to come and go as you please. So you may be a bigger part of the answer to this riddle than I'd like you to be. Maybe bygones can be bygones.
Unfortunately no, but even that's kind of wrong, because she definitely locked me in here.
But you'll have to let me out first.
Can't you get out of those chains on your own? Those chains didn't stop you last time.
Oh, of course. They're nothing to me.
Yeah.
The princess grins as the chains fall from her wrist. She could have gotten out of those the whole time. That sneaky little... A woman after my own heart, really. She knows how to hold her cards close to her chest. This is why she can't just be abandoned here. If left to her own devices, she'll find a way out. Now stop her.
Let's see. Coming back. Okay, let's leave. Broken trust. Okay, I don't trust you. Yeah, let's go. I'd like to be straightforward with my intentions. I didn't care for how you treated me last time. I think you might be a danger to the world. I'm gonna attack you now. Yeet.
Do you think that being direct with your ill will frees you from its wickedness?
I mean, a little. It's better than, like, tricking someone.
Murder and betrayal are still murder and betrayal, whether you state your intentions or keep them hidden behind your back.
See, this is why we never tell people what we're actually thinking. She's just as mad, only now she's ready for us.
That's funny. Just like, That would be another fun attempt at a playthrough. Just trying to, like, whatever the voices are saying, trying to actively say what they're telling you to the princess. That way she knows all of your thoughts. That'd be fun. I don't know if I could fully do that. It'd be hard to charter, but
Still, better a violent fool than a plotting coward. Better for me, I mean.
I mean, you're out of those chains at the very least, so it's a little better for me.
As you close the distance, readying your strike, she throws a fistful of dirt into your eyes.
Oh, my bird eyes.
You must have known I would be ready for you. Deep in your heart, you know the same things about me I know about you. We're both so very awful.
As you brush the silt from your eyes, the princess tackles you, flattening you against the dirt floor.
We were always going to kill each other here, weren't we? I can't trust you, and you can't trust me, and those doubts spin and spin and spin into hate.
I mean, okay, if you feel that strongly about it.
She buries her teeth deep into your chest, tearing at... Great, she's distracted. Stab her in the back.
There you go, opportunist.
In for a penny, right? Why not?
Let's go.
As the princess rips meat from bone, you plunge your weapon into her unprotected back.
Ha, you bastard! Even face to face, you find a way to stab me in the back. I know you, and you're hideous, absolutely wretched. Just like me.
Yeah, that is actually funny. We didn't have to go for the back. Also, I love the, like, slight tint of red coming from her back. Since you can't actually see the wound. But yeah, we could have just gone directly for the heart, but
Maybe we are the same. So what? Throw her off us. Kick her in the shins.
Sure, let's
We
go.
don't have to fight so dirty. Of course we do. Fighting clean won't help us win. It takes a wretch to know a wretch, and we're all at the bottom of the barrel here. There's no point in pretending otherwise. Are we at the bottom of the barrel?
I mean, we're still a hero, right?
We've got dirt in our eyes and a chunk of us chewed out. If that's not the bottom of the barrel, what is?
That's fair. I'm fighting a princess who is just gonna nom on me to death.
No arguments here. You're doing great. Keep playing dirty if that's what it takes. But if we win, we won't be at the bottom anymore. We'll have climbed a little higher. And once we start climbing, well, who knows where we'll stop?
Golly. Another reason why this pairs well with Adversary, because the main thing with Adversary is her and Stubborn want to continuously fight each other in order to improve and improve and improve and improve. And obviously what I did with Eye of the Needle, is, even with like Adversary itself, is an affront to that. Instead, I decided to fight in a style that actually doesn't actively force her to improve, and then I just flat out beat her by finding terrain that suits me best. But normally, preferably the princess wants you guys to fight as equals and to grow as equals. And here the opportunist almost wants the same thing, but with the idea of backstabbing. Like, hey, right now we're both at the bottom, but if we climb over each other and fight over each other, we'll keep on climbing and being, higher and higher up the ring.
You'll stop right here if you keep daydreaming. Don't let yourself get distracted thinking about what comes after.
Hey, 1 second. I swear there's so many spam calls, but yeah, you never know if it's just like a phone number that you just forgot about. Let's continue.
None of us ever said we stopped fighting.
Yeah.
And what a low and vicious fight it is. Eyes gouged, skin scratched bloody, hair ripped and nails broken. Every rule there ever was in the Book of Honourable Combat, both you and the princess have broken a dozen times over.
See, she's literally just tearing us apart. Like, what are we? Like, made out of felt?
That's nice and all, but are we winning? Nobody's winning. I thought playing dirty was supposed to give you the upper hand, but I suppose that doesn't work if you both sink to the same lows. Still, at least you're not losing.
Something adorable about that left drawing. Just like a little cat numbing on your arm.
The princess cackles maniacally as the fracas continues. But behind her cackle, you hear the low groan of warping wood.
Oh. Gore warning for right here.
Wait, what's going on?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's
We're
fine.
establishing a newer, better packing order. No, the groaning thing. Why is the wood making noise?
Don't worry about it. Just don't think about it.
Who cares about the groan? It's just a sound. Things make sounds all the time.
Yeah. Agreed.
I care about the groan. Doesn't that mean something bad is happening?
Doesn't have to mean something bad is happening. Maybe the cabin's just getting bigger.
Oh, yes, well, I'm afraid that's the sound of the basement getting smaller.
It could be something else.
Do you hear that, you pathetic wretch? Those are the roots of the wild, and they're coming to choke the breath from your lungs and squeeze the life out of you.
Okay.
Excuse me, what?
I mean, that's the only response you give to someone who says that.
You and the princess disengage for a brief moment, just long enough to get your bearings. Behind you, the basement door has been sealed over, thick roots barring your only exit from the dirt pit. And slowly, but very perceptibly, the roots are closing in on you both.
That's right. They're coming for you. And they won't stop until there's nothing left down here but them.
Okay. What about you? They'll crush you as easily as they crush me. I mean, that's only if... Golly. The breath and the music. That's so... I'm sorry, I had to stop every few moments. I mean, yeah, in this case, they'll crush her. If she was any other princess, they probably wouldn't do anything. Make them stop. You can make them stop, right? I mean, we kind of brought this on our own. We're not animals, we're people. We can work this out. We can make things better. She is a cat girl, and I am a bird person. I don't think that completely applies. I take it all back. I can help you get out of here. That's not good. Yeah, let's go out fighting.
You attack the princess once more, and once more the two of you fall into a vicious brawl. The basement continues to shrink as you fight, but neither of you pay it any more mind. Not until it's too late.
It was already too late.
The roots twist around you both, binding your limbs and rendering you helpless. As your fates close in, all you can do is watch her, and all she can do is watch you. At first it's almost gentle, the two of you lifted delicately off the ground, but the cradle of the growing roots soon gives way to tightness, and that tightness gives way to bulging pressure as they begin to constrict. The sound of creaking wood is drowned out by the snaps and pops of your bones, pain flooding your senses as you feel your skin deform, being shaped unnaturally by the living basement.
The basement was not a bro this time.
Tears well up in the princess's eyes, her own bones splintering and flesh swelling with trapped blood. But still she smiles through it all.
I mean, in her eyes, we're both going, so I guess that's fine by me.
I can't wait to do this again. You wretched little thing. I hate you, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
You're gonna be saying different things later.
The pressure is unbearable. You can't breathe, your vision swimming with red, your head pounding as everything tightens.
Oddly enough, this is the second time we've been crushed.
And then you pop. Everything goes dark, and you die.
The wild.
We are a path in the woods. We have no beginning, and we have no end. But something cold and unnatural sits watching us from just beyond our edge. His gaze pushes against our borders, curling them in on themselves, preventing them from stretching to the places they need to reach.
No, that's all wrong. You're not a path in the woods, you're on a path in the woods. Who's even saying that? That's not the princess, is it? Oh no. How many times have you been here?
A few?
I think this is our third?
Yeah. And what voice do we get from this?
That's bad. That's very, very bad. It wasn't even supposed to reach 2. If you're at 3, well, no wonder things aren't the way they're supposed to be. Let's get our facts straight. What happened last time? What could you have possibly done for things to be like this?
I mean, technically, I didn't do anything. It was the cabin's choice to have it kill us.
The thing that sits beyond our edge speaks his logic into us. He tries to grasp at things that cannot be grasped.
I mean, technically he did manage to grasp said things and form us, but okay.
He tries to stare with wide pupils at that which can only be held from the corner of the eye or with a passing glance.
Shut up. The rest of you, talk. What happened? What did you do?
The music is so interesting. Like, right here, the music is just kind of moving all over the place. And it's almost like it's trying to be all-encompassing. You know, just like the Roots. It's trying to spread itself out. Because it's just shifting from ear to ear, and it isn't quite just one voice.
Sure, there's no reason to keep secrets. Someone decided to go in guns blazing last time, and that someone got us killed.
That's very unsettling how you said that. That wasn't with the usual enthusiasm.
And what should we have done? Let you draw things out with all that conniving? Everyone knows a straight fight is best. It's honest. There's no need to bicker about it. I wasn't trying to start anything. I don't mind what happened to us. I kind of like it now that we aren't actively being crushed.
Yeah, there's something about this contentment that feels wrong, which is weird. I usually don't feel that way about the wild. Normally, Like, say if the paranoid and the hunted were here or something like that, or the broken and the optimist or something like that. Opportunist, like, normally this kind of feels very peaceful, but it feels odd for the stubborn to be at peace like this, and for the opportunist to be peaceful in this manner.
Yeah, now that you mention it, this isn't so bad.
And it's not like the fight is what killed us anyway, it was the cabin. No point worrying about who charged who when that place ground us all into paste in the end, the princess included.
This is weird. I don't usually feel this way.
It was a fitting end. I'm sorry if it hurt, but doesn't this make it all seem so small?
No, I mean, maybe this felt right at some point, but I don't think this is what we should be anymore.
I see. So the cabin ground you into paste, and now you're convinced you're stuck together. What a mess.
It is a mess.
He doesn't understand. We aren't convinced of anything, and we aren't stuck together. We're one. This is how we're supposed to be. Can't you feel it?
I mean, maybe once upon a time, but now it just feels forced, and I don't think I want this. Why are you being nice to me? Don't you hate me? Don't we sort of hate each other? Like, even if she died, she was, excited to, like, oh, we're gonna die here, and then we'll almost, like, show up again. Whatever we are right now is an abomination. I want out. I don't like this. I'm supposed to be me, and you're supposed to be something that isn't me. Okay, you, narrator, how do I stop her? I'm saying this. I don't like this.
How could you say that? Look at us. We're almost everything. And we can be even more than this. Don't you feel our potential?
Yeah, but we can do this as separate people. We don't have to be conjoined at the hip.
Great. You can start by remembering that you exist, and not just as some dissolved component of a Gestalt entity formed from you and the princess. You exist as your own self, complete with your own physical body separate from hers.
Well, I mean, again, like I was saying earlier, I don't think we technically actually have a physical body. We just have one imposed on us so that we can play out these scenarios. But regardless,
I'm not so sure about that. We were something like that once, but now? And if thinking about that isn't enough to startle you back to reality, consider this. She committed a murder-suicide using a living cabin.
Yeah, that's not okay. It'd be one thing if we just like, oh, we, both killed each other again, okay. But then it was just like, oh, you got the cabin involved. Okay.
Right. That was unpleasant. We weren't big fans of that, I think.
No.
I'm sure I would have had us do the same thing if we were in her shoes. We really do make a great pair. He's probably just jealous.
Okay, that actually is the opportunist speaking normally. He would just, if we could just force the cabin to take out the princess, we probably would have.
You need to remember that you and the princess are enemies. Don't let bygones be bygones. Remember what she's done to you and how much it hurt.
I kind of feel like, I mean, obviously, like, we're gonna take out the princess, we're gonna do all that stuff, but legitimately, I feel like, yeah, you should remember what she's done to you. Like, there's no problem with deciding, like, yeah, I don't want to be enemies anymore, but acting like it never happens feels wrong.
We can't go back to that. We can't go back to the doubting and the hatred and the schemes. Not after being something as beautiful as this.
But we only became this beautiful because of those horrible stuff. I mean, we can't pretend that stuff didn't happen.
Doesn't all that conflict feel so far away right now? So petty? We've been posed against each other by something that understands the strength of our unity.
I mean, you're right about the last part, but no, the conflict doesn't feel far away. Like, that wasn't a fun ending.
Spoken like, honestly, a real puppet master. Have we considered that maybe she's the one trying to trick us?
Yeah, she's trying to just get us to be like, oh yeah, what happened, you know, it's not a problem anymore, you know, we're this beautiful thing now, but like, no.
I'm not.
Yes.
But there's a feeling, isn't there? That petty feeling she mentioned, it is fuzzy, but it's there. Almost like she still hates us. It feels mutual.
Yeah. If it's mutual, then it's almost like she's trying to just suppress her feelings of the past events as well.
Please, stop. If you pay attention to that feeling, we'll fall apart.
Yes, that's the idea.
Don't look at it!
She's trying to turn you away from the truth. There's something she doesn't want you to see. I think you already know you have to look at it.
Hold yourself together. We're no strangers to effort. We can push this back down. Something might do us in eventually, but I'll be damned if that something is a thought.
That's very interesting. So the hero and the opportunist both agree, like, something feels wrong. Like, there's feelings that we're suppressing. And that, like, the princess might be against us. I would have thought Stubborn would have been like, yeah, the princess was violent to us. You know, there's no reason not to potentially be violent back. Gaze at the hatred in your heart.
Please, don't make us remember how we were.
Well, for better or worse, I am the one who leads us down this path of perspective, as you've told it me before, so this is where I'm driving.
And just like that, you start to fall apart. Right, she really does hate us, and we hate her. It hurts thinking about us as separate things, but we're separate. We can't hate ourselves. I love me.
Yeah, thinking about that, that makes that even worse, that she tried to just keep us together. The idea that we still have those hateful thoughts, you know, deep in our heart, but we're just trying to ignore them, when in reality, like, if we're together and we hate each other, then we hate ourselves.
We never got to see the end of that fight, did we? And we can't both be winners. One of us has to beat the other, right?
Yep.
I don't want to remember what it felt like to be killed. It was so much nicer when it didn't feel like it mattered.
But it wasn't real.
And yet you keep remembering. You remember the loathing and animosity you've shared with the princess, the pain and the anger and the betrayal. And you start to remember something else, too. You remember that you are a distinct being with a finite form and a mortal body. You can feel it. There is a shifting of the space around you, the infinitesimal movement of your molecules rearranging back into the shape of what you're meant to be.
That's so interesting. It's basically the narrator makes us believe that we are, like he says, a finite, distinct being with a finite form and a mortal body. So that's what we become. Yeah, as long as we believe it to be.
Maybe bygones can't be bygones. I don't know why I ever wanted to share a body with you, of all things. It's like my very soul reeks of yours. That was horrible. This is better. Finally, I'll be able to hurt you like you deserve.
That's so interesting. Because I don't remember the wild being like that. So, how I usually remember the wild being is that she absolutely hates that we're leaving her. But here, the feeling really does feel mutual. Huh.
I wish I didn't have to.
Some divisions, when sown, can never truly be mended. A cavernous gash rips across whatever it was you thought you were.
Whoa. Okay, so this doesn't sound like important, but this is a very different kind of darkness. Unlike the usual darkness with its, when it's usually feathered, this is like almost pure darkness, or like a veil that's covering up the cabin. Almost like, you know, if the cabin is hiding us, well, maybe that's not quite right, but it's like we're just trying to cover things up.
A cabin comes into being among the trees. It approaches, and it swallows your body whole.
Interesting, just like how it kind of did originally in order to make us into this.
And then you find yourself, blade in hand, exactly where you need to be.
There's only one way this was going to end.
At the center of it all is the princess, a wooden and fleshy heart beating with an unbroken rhythm. You're filled with a sense of purpose. Strike at her. End this once and for all.
Kill me then, if you hate me so much. Just get it over with.
This doesn't feel like a fight. This isn't what I wanted. Where's the victory in this?
Well, this should be easy, if you're sure about it.
I mean, what's the point of being king of the hill if there's no one around to be better than? We'd just be sitting on a hill.
Man. Huh. Out of all the princesses, I could kind of feel bad about killing. Huh. It's one that was probably, arguably the worst to us, or at least emotionally wise. For the other princesses, it was more so physical.
Do we have to do this?
I mean, we decided from the outset what we're gonna do.
You have to. You know you have to.
Slay the princess.
You raise the blade, taking aim at her heart. And then you strike.
I'm sorry.
Goodbye. And even the way that hand covers her heart. But you never see her die. It's time to leave. Memory returns. At least the last princess we do won't be as emotionally wrenching.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
Don't worry, it's gonna be okay.
But it feels so bad. Like looking into it right now is going to be the end of everything.
Screw the mirror. We just need to find the princess.
If they think it's bad, I'm with them.
It's not the end. I'll see you on the other side. It's gonna be okay.
Okay. If you say so. We'll trust you.
Maybe there'll be a good fight there. Maybe we'll find her again.
Finally. We're going places.
Approach the mirror. You approach the mirror. Gaze into your reflection. Silence as you reach forward. You're gone once again. The mirror always makes them leave, but you need to see what is in it. You've unraveled. You find yourself in the long quiet once again. Oh my gosh. That's such an interesting music choice. Earlier it was a cacophony of different sounds, and I've seen the creators play Slay the Princess. I believe that cacophony is meant to be several other voices, but they slowly go quiet as you start hearing the princess's voice. Man, this music's You are at the cabin. Approach her.
There's a world beyond the endless walls of the long quiet. I am curious to see what it means for us to know it.
Do you think there are people out there?
It doesn't matter if there are. People are frail and impermanent. You and I are the only things that interest me.
Yeah. And the princess is like that, specifically because that is how we've molded her. If you choose nicer options, then she does actually care. You know, she kind of feels a sadness at their impermanence. Do you think anything is real out there? Do you think we're real?
We are real.
Well,
Nothing is an idea that dwells in the absence of something. But nothing cannot exist on its own. And because of that, nothing can't exist.
and that is another reason that I do enjoy the Razor's ending, specifically the empty cup. On one hand, she is kind of right, like, you know, nothing is literally defined by the absence of something, but you can't really describe nothing without describing the fact that, like, you know, nothing is the absence of other things. Whereas something, you can describe something and define something in a myriad of ways. However, even though our character is something, nothing is clearly a very important part of our character, and thus it makes us ourself a contradiction. And, you know, it makes it very understandable when the Razor gets terrified of us being nothing. And even if we like another route you could take for the adversary is golly. As I was saying, like, you know, if you take the route with the adversary where you try to fight her without the blade, similarly, she gets scared because as she's beating you, and, you know, chunks and chunks of you are getting beaten off of your body, you continue moving, even though there's really nothing to keep you physically going. You keep going. So, just one of those interesting moments where, like, on one hand, she's right, but because of our very existence, and how we work, and how nothing is clearly a very important part of us, she's also kind of wrong. In the same way that we can't really, like, force certain kind of definitions or descriptions on the princess, she similarly can't do the same with us. Do you have any thoughts on this vessel?
This one is like a shadow of me, twisting vines in search of answers. She will make for a curious heart. Do not mourn her. She has found what she yearned for.
Yes. But this time, rather than searching for something old, what we used to be, she's found something new. Do you know what's going to happen when you awaken?
No. The point of awakening is to find out.
Fair enough. That's very interesting. I do not have the option to actually threaten her. How many more vessels do I need to bring you?
1. Whatever you bring me next will be enough, and then gravity will pull the others back to me. I will be singular, a final multitude.
When you send me back, I'm not alone. There are voices that speak to me. Some of them are me, but one of them is something else. I call him the narrator, and he wants me to kill you. Do you have a narrator? Have the vessels had one?
No, their minds are empty, existent, but constantly shifting into something new. Do you think your narrator lives in the spaces beyond?
Yes, he does. When I find him, you and I are going to finally have answers.
Do not look to one who fears me for your truth. The only answers worth knowing are those we can find within ourselves.
In some ways, that's true. You can glean a lot of this from this game by ignoring the narrator and just focusing on the different interactions you cultivate with the princess. At the same time, even though the narrator has his own motivations and whatnot, you can still glean things, just small bits and pieces from what he says, possibly about his world and all kinds of other things. This is the last time. Is there anything you would like me to bring you?
These gifts are a conversation, and each one shows me the contours of your heart. The only thing I want to see is what you choose for me when the thread is fully drawn.
I'm not sure if you're gonna like what you see. Destroy your body. You raise your will to end your life, but as it buries into the space your body should be, you feel nothing at all. One of many hands in front of you reaches forward and gently plucks the instrument from your hands. So it's almost like if the pristine blade is kind of a part of us, it's almost like we summoned it in order to stab what should be there. But like I said, we don't really have a body like a normal person does.
There's nowhere for you to be but here.
I'm ready to go back.
The next time I see you, each of us will finally know what we are. I will be here, waiting for you.
Everything goes dark and you die. The hero and the princess.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Alright, so this is the end of this. Next, it'll be the beast and two specific endings. That's probably what I'm gonna aim for. There's other endings and whatnot, you can tell me. But, man, seriously, this is a kind of game where every single time you really see someone play it, each time you play it yourself, you really always notice something different. You always find new ways of looking at the game, and it's just wonderful. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. We'll see. Again, I'm gonna aim for the series to come out before the pristine cut comes out. But of course, I gotta do Between Two Worlds first. But other than that, I'll see you guys later. Bye!